This is our first look around the Skoda Elroq. It's the company's new electric car. It sits below the Enyaq in the range, and it's going to be competitively priced pretty much anywhere you are in Europe. It's going to come with 3 different versions. So there's going to be a 50, a 60 and an 85. And there'll be various different power outputs. We'll talk about those in a moment. The first thing we want to talk about is the car itself. Now, it maintains that kind of SUV style that we've seen with the Enyaq, but it is a little bit shorter than the Enyaq, just over 160 millimeters shorter. Most of that comes at the back, but even though it's a little bit shorter at the back, you still get a lot of very good boot space. And again, stay tuned because we'll show you that there's some new Simply Clever features from Skoda in the back as well. This here is on the 19-inch wheels. In Ireland, we will only be getting 20-inch wheels on it, and just one of the markets, but you will have 19 and 20-inch wheels depending on where exactly you are in the world. Let's talk about the front of this vehicle, because this is not only a new look for the company, it's also got some things like the Skoda name spelled out across the front. But the real thing is this new front design, which designers call the tech deck face. So the idea is you've obviously got your LED daytime running lights in here, your main headlights lower down in here, and because it's kind of dark inside, it's nice that it kind of hides them when they're not illuminated. In time, around 2025, Skoda is also going to offer a fully illuminated section all the way across here, and there's going to be 2 different styles on this. So cars that have the LED matrix headlights will have this appearance. So there's going to be a gap in between them. Cars with just the standard headlights will have a solid daytime running light. So that's a way that you'll be able to distinguish if the Elroq has LED matrix headlights. The other reason for doing this tech deck face is that it allows Skoda's designers to integrate more of the sensors and all the future technology that will go into its cars in here without it kind of cluttering up the design. So things like maybe in time your radar sensors and all that kind of stuff will be discreetly hidden within here. And all you can see at the moment is this front facing camera as part of the overall camera system. Then further down the back, you get some details, again, familiar, tying in with the Enyaq design. Nice big door mirrors here. Pretty much all the chrome inside has been taken out, and even on the outside, it's a more subtle brush design on this version. There is also going to be a different Sportline version, and have a look on our channel for that one as well, because we've got a full video outlining all the details of that one too. You got quite nice roof rails here. We'll show you the inside in the back in a moment. And then you've got large spoiler, again, all about shaping the aerodynamics of this car to improve the overall driving range. You've got rapid charging available as well, up to 175 kilowatts DC, depending on which battery you have. Either way, even with the biggest battery, you'll be able to go from 10 to 80% in about 28 minutes. Slightly shorter amount of time for the smaller battery. The 50 uses a 52 kilowatt net battery, and it has a 125 kilowatt or 170 horsepower output and an overall driving range of up to 370 kilometers. The mid-level 60 version gets a 59 kilowatt hour net battery, 150 kilowatt output, that's 204 horsepower, and up to 440 kilometers of range, while the range topping 85 uses a 77 kilowatt hour battery net, and that has a power output of 210 kilowatts or 285 horsepower, and it also has the longest driving range at up to 560 kilometers. The rear lights have, again, a bit of a nod to the Elroq, and as with all modern Skodas now, the name is spelled out across the back. There's an electrically operated tailgate, which is pretty useful, and a good amount of boot space in here, 470 litres, and that can also expand up to 1,580 litres when you drop down the rear seats. I do quite like a number of the features that they've got in here. For example, first of all, plastic bumper in here. It's nice because it's not going to get scuffed. Normally these are painted, so this should be a little bit harder wearing for those. You've got all the usual things like these great little devices, the Simply Clever things that Skoda have, so you can Velcro those in and keep things from sliding around. But there's a couple of new features, and I think these are actually pretty smart. For example, at the bottom of the parcel shelf here, they've got a little net area, a little bag that you can put your charging cable in, because normally most people end up just flinging them into the boot or putting them underneath. There is a little bit of space under there as well, so you could put it in there if you wanted to. There's a nice little compartment there. No spare wheel, but this does get a tire inflation kit. On the sides then, you've got other things like obviously the usual bag hooks, but this space now has a extra shelf in it, so you can put some stuff in there, some more things in there. You've got a 12-volt socket, you've got a light in there, you've got another shelf on the other side as well, and if you've got a tow bar, you can have the release come out and it will pop up and then stow away when you don't need it. You can also take off this parcel shelf and put it lower down, so you've got an extra set of kind of nubs there for it to sit on, meaning that you can have a parcel shelf slightly lower down. So again, really, really practical. And well, let's face it, this is Skoda. This is what they do. The interior offers a number of new colors as well, partly inspired by the original concept Vision 7S. That means you've got lighter grays here, contrasting with some orange stitching here. There's still some black details throughout, so it's a nice blend of light and dark colors. Even the seat belts are available in that funky orange color, and it really lends itself to that new image that Skoda is portraying. It's the same on the seats as well. You've got this really nice, quite tough feeling but really nice looking fabric here on the seats. Again, a number of different colors, a number of different textures. They are kind of sporty, so they will hold you in place pretty well, and they kind of have a nice warm feeling even without using the heated seats, which are standard on the front seats on all Elroqs, as well as the heated steering wheel. Buyers will also be able to order a winter pack, which gives you heated outer rear seats and a heated windscreen, as well as 3-zone climate control, although you will have to pay extra to get a heat pump. It's an option on all models, at least in Ireland. As for what you get in front of you then, well, we've got the latest 13-inch screen here. This is running Skoda's latest infotainment system, and it is a big improvement over its predecessor. You've things like all the main things are always on the bottom, so your heated seats, your climate control, all these icons are very easily available. And as well as that, you've got all the usual infotainment, mapping, connectivity, and there'll be the usual way of pairing your smartphone to that, whether it's Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. But it's not fully digital in the sense that you still have a bank of physical buttons here down below. So these are shortcuts to different drive modes, parking features. Obviously, you've still got a physical button for the hazard lights and to lock and unlock the car, and as well as then your demisting for your rear or your front windows and the climate control. There's a nice bit of space in here. You've got storage here in front. You can put a wireless charger in there for your phone. You've got 2 cup holders, another big space here, and the same kind of small little toggle drive selector as we've seen in the Enyaq as well, and an electronic parking brake. You've got more storage underneath there. In fact, Skoda has almost 50 litres of storage available throughout the whole cabin. So even though you've got a pretty big boot, you've still got a lot of space in the front here, especially in under there as well. Really useful. You can put maybe small bags or any bulkier items in there out of the way. So all that aspect of it is very good. And again, this is Skoda. This is what they're very good at. You've got a nice flat bottom steering wheel here. This is a 3-spoke design. There will also be a 2-spoke steering wheel depending on which version of car you get. And you've got a 5-inch digital display in front of you. All the usual important driver information is there. So your speed, your battery range remaining, all that kind of stuff. And there's just a simple double toggle layout here for doing things like volume control, toggling through the menus. You've got paddles on the back as well, so for adjusting the amount of regen you have. Again, that's really nice. Some manufacturers have taken that away, but I like having the ability to adjust the regen on the fly as I'm driving, so that's another bonus as well. You will also be able to get the large augmented reality head-up display, and you can see that because you've got a slightly glossy black layer in front of you, and that just hides the gubbins that makes it all work. But you get a really nice large head-up display projection onto the windscreen as well. The overall sense of space in here, well, it does feel very roomy for this size of car. It doesn't feel any smaller than an Enyaq, in fact. Now, the rear seats, you need to go and have a look at them and see how they compare too. This may be a size class smaller than an Enyaq, but really it doesn't feel all that smaller at all, really. Okay, I'm really average height. I'm about 5'8", 5'9", but I've got a ton of headroom there. I have loads of knee room there in front of me. This driving seat is set up for my normal driving position, so no issues there. I can even stretch my feet out underneath the seat in front if I want. And I've still got a lot of room here on this side as well, with a nice comfortable armrest as well. That's where my switch for the electric window is. I've even got a decent door bin. So really, this is pretty comfy. You've got more space in there. You've got a smaller pocket if you want to put your mobile phone in there. And you've got a decent center console here. So you've got vents in the back. If this car, as this one is equipped with heated outer seats, you've got controls for there. And you can adjust the climate control back here as well. You've also got two USB-C charge ports down there, and this one has this extra center console on the floor. You don't have to have that, but if you don't want to really be utilizing the middle seat all that often, you could put that there. You have extra storage, two more cup holders there. But of course, if you're not using that, you can still pop this down and have your normal cup holders in there as well. And there's also a storage compartment, so you can open that down to access the boot as well. The middle seat, it's actually pretty wide. Now, obviously the middle seats are usually less comfortable than the outer seats, so it is a lot flatter, but it's not really massively firmer. And normally these are like sitting on a stone, but actually there's still a bit of comfort in this, and you do have a fair bit of width in here. So an adult could sit in here. Maybe if there was a child seat on either side, it'd be a bit tight, but both outer rear seats can also accommodate ISOFIX. And as I mentioned, you've got these really funky orange seat belts. I think they're cool. Maybe not everyone is going to like them, but it's just nice to see cars with a bit of color inside them, a bit of brightness inside here. But there's a lot of nice little details, like the tops of the doors. Okay, they're plastic, but they have a bit of texture on them. So again, you can kind of see where Skoda has, obviously they need to make this thing to a certain price point, but they put in a couple of little details that just lift it a little bit more over some of its competitors. The Elroq does come with a lot of standard equipment. Okay, it would be nice if it had a heat pump as standard, but you do get a lot of stuff included with this. And you've also got a lot of space inside. Not to mention you've got 3 batteries to choose from, decent driving ranges, and an overall package that's pretty stylish and pretty appealing. It's certainly going to give a lot of its rivals a headache. Cars like the Kia Niro, Hyundai Kona, and a whole lot more. It is in a very competitive segment of the market. The good news is, by the time you're seeing this video, it's going to be available to order right away, and you can have a play on the configurator and see what you think for yourself. If you want to know more about the car, head over to our website. It's CompleteCar.ie. You'll find it linked in the description below, and it's a great resource for finding your next new car. Thanks for watching.